This is Fantology.
You may have heard of us.
All right, what's up, fantasy book fans? This is Fantology Podcast. I'm your host, Stephen, along with my lifelong friends, Ryan, Ben, and Josh. Missing Jake this month, but we do have four of us here, and we are going to be talking about our monthly competition. This is the April competition, and the topic this month is top 3 fools in fantasy, and we decided this could be like your court jester type fool, or it could be your lovable idiot type fool. You just open to your interpretation. We're going to be doing our picks for top 3 fools and then opening this up to Twitter where anyone can jump in, and then there'll be a competition throughout the month of April. So if you have not participated before, check us out on Twitter and do that. But I guess before we get too much into that, we'll kind of break the ice with some fantasy news for the month, or just like what's on your guys' mind in the state of fantasy. What has you interested recently?
Well, I feel like big news in my world was Sanderson's Kickstarter ending and getting almost $42 million funding, which is just mind-blowing.
Just a little bit of money there.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, the popularity that Sanderson has achieved, and also the loyalty of his fan base. I mean, I think he definitely deserves it with his consistency and creativity, and also how much of a pioneer he is showing himself to be in the industry, which I think is desperately needed in the publishing industry. I think it's been the way it has been for a very long time. I mean, ebooks did shake it up for a few years, but I think it's largely kind of reached an equilibrium and hasn't stopped moving. So it's exciting to see what Sanderson is doing.
Did you read the FAQ that he put out on his website about the publishing industry and why he was doing the Kickstarter and all that?
I was talking to Ben a little bit about it, but I haven't read it myself.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Tell us a little bit about some of the interesting points of that.
Obviously I would direct you to read it. He has like a short version and like a longer version, but basically like there's a few things that he's been telling the publishing industry for a few years that he really thinks is necessary, and they haven't really listened to him. The main one being that like if you buy a hardcover book, it should just come with an ebook. I think particularly
seems like a no-brainer, right?
Right. Yeah. And so that's nice to see. And I think he's kind of proven his point there. The second one is that Amazon controls like 80% of his business. 80% of his books are purchased through Amazon. And I think it was like 2012 or something that like they just like shut off the ability for people to buy his books. I don't know why, but like that
it was a dispute with a publisher, so it was for a month or something.
Okay. Yeah. So, and that really stuck with him. And so he's like, he's kind of been looking around to see, if that happened again, what he could do. And so I think those were the two kind of his like his signals to the wider like publishing world that like, this is a viable alternative for him.
Mm-hmm.
So
the Kickstarter being the signal. Yeah.
So personally, I would consider buying hardcover books a lot more if they came with
absolutely
with an ebook, because like most of the time I would collect the hardcovers, but I know just realistically I'm going to read there's a much bigger chance that I read the ebook.
Yeah, it's just more convenient.
I'm out and about. I have some time. I bust open the ebook. I read a chapter in a 10-minute whatever.
Especially with doorstopper books, right? Like it's one thing to like get like a paperback of like 300 pages and just be able to pop it in your like bag or car or whatever. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, well, and don't get me wrong. Like if I'm at home, I get set up. I prop up this 10-pound book. I find a comfortable reading position. Yeah, I would still prefer reading the hardcover copy. But realistically in my life, that doesn't happen all that often versus like, okay, I have a quick lunch break at work that I'm not doing a million other things during. Let's see if I can read a chapter real fast. And I'm much more likely just to bust out my phone to do that. So
yeah.
Or Kindle or something. Anyway.
Also, if I buy a nice physical copy of a book and I want to keep it in good condition, then I might like read it a little bit, but I definitely prefer to do most of my reading on my phone or whatever e-reader I'm using at the time, just to keep the book in good condition, which is especially important to me, you know, with like leather-bound books. Or I mean, not that I don't even really read my leather-bound books, but my hard copies of Stormlight Archive, especially the ones that are numbered, signed and numbered, I'm trying to keep those in very good condition.
Yeah.
Jude's inheritance right there.
Yeah. So I don't know, that was big news, and I appreciate the thing that was weird to me. I was also telling this to Ryan, and we can move on, but like, it's weird that he didn't have any idea that it would be that big. Like, because obviously he knows his numbers, right? Like he knows how many copies.
I mean, he thought it would be pretty big, but didn't he say more like 5 to 10
he said like
million?
5 to 10 million. Yeah. But like 4 times, you know, like, so that tells me that's got to tell you that like this hit a lot of new readers, or got like a lot of attention from like people that he does not normally get, right? Like, because otherwise he would just be like, oh, I know about 100,000 people bought Rhythm of War. Like I would expect a similar amount to buy this, you know? So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people.
You think his new readers are just a higher percentage converted that were previously fans than he thought before?
If I'm him, I'm like, okay, I bet that 90% of people that bought Rhythm of War would buy these books. Maybe more people bought into the higher
price points.
Yeah, I think like the average price point was like $250 or something, which is crazy. So maybe that was the case, but still, I mean, then you're like, I don't know. Maybe he just thought everyone was going to do the $60 tier, and that's why it was 4 times higher than what he thought. So,
but there is probably a certain amount of virality that he wasn't expecting. You know, I don't think he was probably expecting to be on like Good Morning America or whatever morning program.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
Like, and so then people are like, oh, there's this huge historical doubling, like twice the amount of any Kickstarter that's ever been funded by this author that apparently has really diehard fans. And I can get into it for, you know, not very much money. Like, you know, just jump on board with like, like you might just jump on board with, you're like, oh, I can get 4 books of this author that's pretty good. You know, maybe you know somebody who's read some, you've named sounds familiar. I can see some new readers coming in just because of this hype, and then being very lost in some
that's
of secret projects.
Like, are these secret projects the best? Yeah, is it the best place to start with?
I would say the first 2 are pretty good.
The first 2 are good.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah. Hopefully they get the secret projects and they're like, okay, these books aren't coming until next year.
Yeah.
Oh, what else has he written? Let's start with Mistborn maybe. And yeah.
So, okay. The other piece of fantasy news that I wanted to talk about, there's this phenomenon on Reddit that's been taking place over the last like 2 days. And it's called r-place, not like our place, r/place. And it's basically, the whole concept of it is that you can place 1 pixel every 5 minutes, and
now it's like every 20 minutes.
It's this blank canvas, and you can place 1 pixel of a color.
Yeah,
right?
And there's like 1 million pixels, right? Is how it started off. It was like 1,000 by 1,000 rows, and they've kind of added on to it. Anyway, fantasy community has had a great showing. There's a great one for the Cosmere. There's a great one for, there's like a Malazan.
By one, you mean there's like sections of this canvas.
Yeah.
Have like, different.
Yeah. There's like 100 by 100 pixels that's like devoted to the Cosmere. And like the way that this works is you have to kind of like defend your territory, right? Otherwise, like they're like the second law of thermodynamics, like is that things will devolve into chaos. And like there is no place that will represent that law greater than this experiment. Right.
Okay.
So you're like fending off your territory from people like coming over and taking it over. And so there's been a collaboration between Stormlight and Malazan. There's been a Cosmere one. And then there's been like this whole little science fiction fantasy like circle that's developed just today of like, there's like Lord of the Rings, Cosmere, Wheel of Time, and they're all kind of congregating to.
So is this all being coordinated on different subreddits?
Yeah, so there's like Discords and subreddits that like people will post like almost like a Google sheet of that we're going to go from like this pixel to
these are
pixel.
the pixels we want.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Like if you've ever like crocheted before, like there's like it's almost like your crochet pattern where like you know each box is something.
So I'm on a tech Discord, MKBHD's Discord, and somebody posted a Google sheet that has the design that they want with the shades filled in, like the cells are like the pixels, but then within each cell, it has a link to the specific cell in the our place. So you click on the link, and then that takes you to the cell that you need to change that color to.
That's
Very cool.
So easy that an idiot could do it on this complicated subreddit
So
social experiment.
I literally just went on and placed a pixel. And I was
you're doing your part.
I was attempting to disrupt this huge pink Osu thing.
Oh,
I don't even know. I don't even know what Osu is, but I placed a black pixel, and within 15 seconds, it had been corrected.
Yeah, it's Osu. Yeah. Anyway, if
So
you haven't,
what is-
if you haven't heard of it, you should go. There's like cool time lapse videos that show everything. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool. So I guess the takeaway from this on our fantasy show is that fantasy and sci-fi culture is more and more mainstream. If you didn't know that already, that our place proves that it's really popular across
At
nerds.
least on Reddit.
And on Reddit, yeah. Like if you couldn't have guessed that already, well, it's true.
Yeah, I read a comment that described Redditors as cellar dwellers. So at least among cellar dwellers, we are popular. So anyway, yeah.
What are the other things? What's the, if it's not all science fiction fantasy?
So
what else are there? Like universities, sports?
Yeah, universities, sports, a lot of flags, like countries' flags. There's a lot of streamers will kind of like try and get people to draw pictures of their face. I mean,
This
literally
big picture of Kobe Bryant currently.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Josh.
Are you guys seeing my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's my $1 million idea is to take all this artwork and make bumper stickers out of it. So that's I think that would be pretty cool. I'm sure Reddit. Reddit probably owns it. I don't know, but it's very fascinating. And I guess for the other perspective, this happened once back in 2018, 2017, and so this was like their 5-year anniversary of it. Also, fun fact is that the creator of Wordle was the person that started this for the first time back in 2017. He was an employee of Reddit.
Talented guy. Okay.
Yeah. So there you go, Josh.
Is there an Elden Ring section?
I did see that. Oh, right there.
Oh, right there. Nice. That's serendipitous.
Oh, there it is. Yes, indeed.
Is that
Canada,
Elden? Yeah.
Canada has been like a meme because they like haven't been able to figure out how to draw their flag.
Well,
Also, somebody made it bananas at some point.
I think they had figured it out, but then other people were trying to turn it into a marijuana leaf, and so it was just like going back and forth.
Wait, go back up. I see that Purdue, Ohio State, or no, who is that?
They spelled out porn.
I think porn. Yeah, who's
We're
the
trying to
Ohio
avoid
State?
that, Stephen.
Rutgers and Nebraska letters. Yeah, okay, good combination there from the Big Ten.
Solid One Piece showing. I know Daniel Green and Murphy Napier would like that.
Yeah, what is One Piece? Is that it's a anime show?
Yeah, look at that Star Wars. If you zoom in on Star Wars, there's a bunch of like little Among Us. You see it, Josh? If you like pin over to the left a little bit, like all the little Among Us guys in like lighter shades of blue. Yeah.
I don't see it.
Okay, Josh. Yeah, right there. Like your mouse is basically on one.
Oh
side,
yeah,
right?
I see it now.
Wow.
Hey, Ben, you are so deep into this, man.
Yeah.
I'm very deep into this.
Yeah, Ben, are you able to profit monetarily at all from any of your time spent doing this?
This would be Ben's
fun.
life.
This would actually be fun to make a children's book out of this.
No, this would
Which
be
like
does
that-
not seem
No.
appropriate for children, Josh.
No. Not a children's, but like an I Spy book, like where it's like, oh, find this in this picture, and then the kid finds that.
Yeah.
But like just have like different pages of this where you find different cultural things. That'd be pretty fun.
yeah.
Oh,
It's
Kobe rep.
yeah.
That's cool.
Oh,
All
then
right,
it's right next to
so,
Stormlight. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Kobe and Stormlight have combined together. After all this nonsense, should we talk about top 3 fools in fantasy?
Let's
Heck
do it.
yeah.
Okay. So, who wants to get us started and let us know? This can be open for interpretation. I feel like this one is not as hard and fast as some other ones. So, tell us why you think they're foolish.
And we should point out that this is because it's April Fool.
Yeah,
I didn't get that until like somebody explained it. So that's why
April
we're doing
Fools. Yes, a fun tradition.
Right.
I can go first if you guys, unless somebody else wants to.
You got it.
All right. Well, so the way that I picked my characters is that they have the appearance of fools, but they are more than they appear, and so they're pretty interesting characters in all of these books. And so my number 3 pick is going to be Iskrael Pust from Malazan Book of the Fallen, and
Okay.
he is a priest of High House Shadow, which often gets on, has some interesting dialogue, and his funny quirk is that he says his thoughts out loud and doesn't recognize that everybody else can hear him. And so for a lot of the series, you're like, this guy is just a joke. And then a few books later on in the series, you actually see him in a fight, and he can definitely deal some damage. That's all I'm gonna say, because I think
So I
Steven will
saw
find
I
that
saw
out.
him in I saw him in Dead House Gates. What's the next book that he's gonna show up in?
I think he appears in a lot of the books, but it's probably not until, I don't know, maybe Toll the Hound, or not, maybe Bone Hunters, that you see him more
Okay, so like
significantly.
I think it's book like 6.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could be wrong though, because it's been a while since I've read those
Okay.
books.
Okay.
My number 2 pick is going to be Wit from Stormlight Archive, who is often he's kind of like the jester of Elhokar's court in Way of Kings, and he is actually a character who has some ties to the Greater Cosmere, which is all I'm going to say. But
You don't say, really.
yeah, and
Okay.
I think that he is, once Sanderson has said he'll release a book about just totally about this character's backstory, not for a long time, probably years and years, like 5-10 years, I guess, if not longer. But that's one of the books that he's writing that I'm looking forward to most, because of how interesting this character has been to this point. And for my number 1 pick, once again, going back to the Malazan Book of the Fallen, which I guess just kind of goes to show you how well Steven Erikson writes his fools. So maybe you should, if you like these types of characters, maybe you should look into his series a bit more. But for my number 1 pick, it's going to be Kruppa from the
It's a good pick. It's a good pick.
Yeah, he's very much plays the part of a fool. And a lot of times you're asking yourself, is this guy a fool, or does he know what does he know more than he lets on? And maybe he's a little bit of both. But he is, I feel like, probably the best character that I could think of to fit this theme.
I like it. The Malazan picks from Ryan plus Stormlight. Who's gonna follow that up? Should I go already?
Go for it.
I have a few, contingencies if you guys were to take mine. So I can go later on, unless you feel like you also have a lot.
I can go, because I do not have very many contingencies.
Okay,
I was also hoping I would think of better ones, but
you better jump in then.
Okay. So I'm gonna say my top one going down to my bottom 3, because I'm more confident with my first couple. So I think the Lopen is a great kind of fool character.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, very lighthearted, but also as Ryan says, he can deal some damage, so he's probably my top pick. Light Song from Warbreaker. I think that he similarly, he's kind of plays it off as very just kind of airheady, your typical jock who maybe doesn't care about things, but then ends up doing a lot of good. Now I have 2 that I'm not as confident about, but I'll
you only need one more. You only need one more.
I know.
Just
I know.
Combine the 2 that you're not sure about into one really good one.
I can't. Okay, so I'm just gonna stick with this one because it's probably the second fantasy series I ever read, but The Fool from Farseer. Can you get
fits
a
the
better
definition
fool than The Fool? So, And I haven't even read like live ship traders or whatever. Like I haven't read past that, where I know he does take on a bigger role. But I just like,
wait, how many Robin Hood books have you read?
I've just read the Farseer trilogy.
So just the first 3?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, he's not a big character in Live Ship Traders. Just kind of a cameo type character.
But there's still like a lot of, like,
maybe a little bit bigger, but
I feel like
bigger. So Fitz and the Fool there's 3 main core trilogies that they are the main characters in.
Gotcha.
So yeah. you haven't read too much then. There's plenty more.
There's I know that there's like, I know enough to know how much I don't know, about that relationship.
Sure.
So yeah, but those would be my 3.
The second fantasy series you ever read? Really?
Yeah. I would say apart from Sanderson, I think I've read like more of like series from Sanderson, but like that was my first time branching out from Sanderson was Robin Hood.
I do not read.
Oh, I think I read Name of the Wind, Cosmere, like all Cosmere stuff, and then I think it was, yeah.
Okay,
I guess I'll go then, Steven.
Sure, go for it. I'll go last.
Okay, so this pick is funny. I think people will hate it because I'm not. Anyway, Jar Jar Binks from Star Wars is a fool in my book.
He's not a fool. He's a great Sith Lord.
That could be, but which would make his fool character even more compelling if he actually was a great Sith Lord.
Nice.
Nice turn it reverse Uno right there, Ryan.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like he's definitely a foolish character, but he bumbles around doing stuff that ends up helping more than hurting, probably.
Josh has somehow identified the one point that everybody can point to and say, this is where Star Wars started to go downhill.
Yeah, well, I don't think I'm the first one to make this connection. But yeah, fool character. Number 2, Ron Weasley from Harry Potter. I think that he is a fool character. I think that he's a big part of his character serves to be corrected by Hermione and serves to be comic relief, and also just really, Ron, that's a really dumb thing to do, like throughout most of the series.
Yeah, whenever there's a conflict, like they're ever just like have a few months to pass at school, Ron will just do something stupid.
Ron's beefing. Yeah, he's beefing with someone all the time. But he is also like fairly good-hearted, I'd say. There are people that are like Ron haters out there that think that like he's abusive towards Hermione and Harry and stuff. Like, I wouldn't go that far. I just think he's kind of dumb. Like that's his main character trait to me, is kind of dumb.
But
just
whatever, Josh. What kind of dumb person would sacrifice the night to save Harry's life in Wizard's chess?
He had some good fundamental chess strategy.
Here's the thing with Ron. He missed his entire second year because he couldn't do magic because Hogwarts failed to supply him with a backup wand. I mean, this is such a miss.
Hogwarts funding must be severely cut. Like, there must be some big
there's no Gryffindor legacy scholarship for
all
students that are.
All of their funds that were supposed to go to academics were in fact going to Quidditch.
Also, Harry couldn't have forked over like 10 galleons from his fortune.
If the interest in his Gringotts account probably could at least covered the wand for that year.
I know this is way messed up. It's a huge miss, and Ron suffers as a result of it, and that's probably why he's so dumb.
Never quite recovers.
Yeah, he got behind the ball. He couldn't ever get back.
Although, if that wouldn't have, I mean, hey, if that wouldn't have happened, would Gilderoy Lockhart just have been able to wipe all their memories or whatever?
So it had to happen because of plot reasons.
There's a very strong plot device for this lapse in
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
He also has a villain as his familiar or his pet, right?
That's true.
Not that he knows, but
yeah, that was a miss by the whole Weasley family. Let's not recognize that.
Big L, man. Big L Weasley.
This rat has been alive for a while.
Also, Fred and George just, have the Marauder map and seeing Peter Pettigrew just sleeping by Ron every night. So
Yeah, that wasn't there some explanation for that? I can't
think
remember
so.
what. Yeah.
I think so. I don't want to just beef on Harry Potter because I do
Yeah,
love this
no.
series.
It's a great series. The plot is there's some holes if you really want to get into it, but yeah.
So, well, even if you just okay, Final Fool is called a fool by none other than Gandalf
Oh,
Peregrine
Mm.
Took.
of a Took. And
Nice.
so yeah, so Pippin, or no, Mary. It's Mary. Wait, who is it?
Well,
Pippin.
no, it's
Pippin.
Peregrine Took.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pippin,
Mary.
yeah.
Mary is like Mary Brand.
Meriadoc.
Meriadoc
Meriadoc Brandy Bucket or something
Yeah,
like that.
Brandy Buck, something like that. Yeah.
Brandy Buck.
Yeah, but Pippin is a Took, and so right. So
Yes.
Yeah. Pippin is my fool. That I'm
Okay.
going with. And
I mean, either would have been acceptable.
yes,
they
Or
are essentially the
both.
same character.
Well, they do different things, but yeah.
but again, kind of some comic relief shuffled in there. They do important, or he does important things, but also, is mostly there to kind of mess things up / stumble into success / be just a good-hearted person and make our leading characters look even better.
What are you
So-
talking about? He freaking saves Gondor.
Also,
Well-
I'm just gonna say, didn't Gandalf call everybody a fool when he was like, "Run, fools"?
Fly, you fools.
fly.
Fly,
Yeah.
you fools is the quote.
Okay,
Whatever. I was focused on the fools part. All right.
fine. You guys, okay, fine. However, that is my
That's a
final
good
fool.
pick. It's a solid pick.
Yeah, I like my top 3. All right, Steven, hit us with
Yeah.
yours.
Yeah. I have a list here. I was trying to come up with like a themed list in the way that you guys had yours themed together.
I'm not sure I had the theme behind mine.
Well, Ryan,
I had
did
Ron
it.
Weasley, Jar Jar Binks, and Pippin.
Okay, I'll explain afterwards in the honorable mention. So I'm just gonna have to kind of go for a few other ones. Okay. I just read Alloy of Law, and I think that Wayne is a good
Boom.
fool.
That's a great fool.
I was thinking Wayne, but Wayne's pretty smart too.
Yeah, but his character is, like
His
his
character,
facade
yeah.
is being
a
foolish.
lot of them are. A lot
They're
of
all
the
smart,
characters
yeah.
I said are actually
Are
pretty
smart.
smart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that was your kind of thing. Yeah. Okay. Good call.
yeah. And
I was
and the
afraid
first
I would
time-
I would get called out by you, Steven, if I went with him. So
No. There, yeah. You can explain it away however you
Okay.
want, and obviously my explanation is going to be awesome. Whereas yours, may have been full of holes, and I would have called you out on it. But I did just reread Alloy of Law, and I've only read Era 2, Mistborn, once, and it was years ago when they first came out. And you guys know this, but I didn't really love Era 2 too much. And part of it was because I thought Wax and Wayne were just like big cringe characters. But after reading Alloy of Law, I liked it a lot better. And Sanderson's humor doesn't always land for me, but there were some parts where I was laughing and I thought it was much better. And so I don't know what happened the first time I read it. Maybe I was just real depressed during that period of my life. It's very possible that was true, but I liked it a lot better. So we'll see what happens with Shadows of Self in my reread and Bands of Mourning. But Wayne is a good character right now.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Character fool number 2. I'm going to go. Okay, there's no theme here, unfortunately. But my fool number 2 is going to be Waldo Butters from Dresden Files.
I was trying to think of somebody
Great.
from
Great
Dresden.
pick.
Yeah,
Great
yeah.
pick.
And again, he's not like totally an incompetent fool. And as you get further in, he does some pretty cool things. But when Dresden first meets him, he's kind of this bumbling dude who can't do much, and he provides a lot of comic relief and has some great moments throughout. And he's a nice compliment to Dresden. I think he's a good fool.
Well, and plus a lot of the cool things that he does are a result of kind of like a bumbling action, So it's
Right,
pick.
right. Yeah.
he stumbles into awesomeness.
That's a good way to put it. I like that. Stumbles into awesomeness. Okay, number 1 fool. I'm just gonna go for it. This is a little dark, And I guess this is going to contain some spoilers for the first book of A Song of Ice and Fire. But like, come on, at this point, if you haven't read A Game of Thrones, like, you know, that was years ago, so I'm just going to go for it. But my number one fool is Ned Stark, because
Rip, man. Rip.
yeah, it's a little dark, but come on, the book sets him up. The book does this masterfully, and it's a really cool way. It really subverts a lot of stuff, but sets it up to be like, okay, here's this knight in shining armor hero guy. He's going to go in and expose all the evil things that are that have been happening, and he's going to, you know, take care of it, of all the problems for House Stark. And he goes in there and he gets in way too deep, doesn't know what he's doing, and ultimately just gets killed by this crazy child king, which is a really, you know, bad way to go. But it's a little dark. I told you it was dark, but a lot of foolish behavior there.
Unfortunately,
That's
Rob
great.
Stark kind of inherited that too.
Yeah. I just watched The Eternals, which Rob Stark is in. I hadn't seen The Eternals before. Also, another movie that was maybe made by some fools. I don't know. That movie was not great.
I haven't seen it yet because I've heard that. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It wasn't terrible.
That was probably a little
It was
harsh.
fine.
That was probably a little harsh. It wasn't terrible, but definitely not as good as the usual Marvel standard, you know?
Definitely not. It's definitely on my
Okay, I take it. I apologize if you're associated with the movie at all. You're not
Pretty sure-
fools.
I'm pretty sure the director won an Oscar. Oh, that's
For the
what we
movie?
did. No, not for Eternals, but
Oh.
before. Also, we forgot that in our news segment. Will Smith just slap right across the
Across the memosphere.
across the music.
I mean, I wish that was fantasy and not reality.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, lots
My-
of fantasy memes made. Lots of creme posting memes as a result.
My brother's 1000% sure it's fake. That's beside the point.
That makes me believe it's more real.
yeah, that particular brother believes a lot of things are fake. So.
All right, so honorable mentions before we diss the Robinson family too much.
I was going to go with Leo Dan Brock. From
That's okay. That was going to be, I'll let you continue, but that was going to be part of my attempted themed entry.
He
Yeah.
was
Wait,
pretty-
we can't do spoilers for that though, because I think I know the theme that you're going with, Steven.
He was
No, I'm not going to spoil.
Oh, okay.
He was just foolish. He had some foolish actions where you're like, man, I just want to smack you.
Yeah.
And another honorable mention I had from you haven't gotten to this. It was also Malazan. His name's Tehol Bedict. He's a character later on in the series. And he's a pretty funny character. He's kind of in the same or very similar, I should say, as Iskral Pust and Kruppa.
Okay.
Another honorable mention, if I was going to go with Dresden Files, I was going to pick Detective Rudy, because that guy is just a fool in a lot of ways.
The I want to smack you category.
Yeah.
I was gonna add in Gowan Tricand from Wheel of Time into the I want to smack you category.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a third one. So yeah, Detective Rudy would have been a good one. Rudolph.
For Wheel of Time, I thought about Matt. Matt's kind of a fool.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Matt. I did have Matt written down, like, but it always kind of works out for him because he's lucky.
I think the best part was when he like went to save all the girls and they're like, "What are you doing here? We don't need your help."
Right. They put him in the I want to smack you category.
That was pretty awesome. Yeah.
I have Toot down from Dresden Files. Toot the fairy.
Oh, Toot.
Oh,
Toot.
yeah.
Yes. Our resident pizza fan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I just hear James Marsters toot voice whenever you say that.
That's gotta be his most committed voice in the whole
Yeah.
narration.
What else? Do you guys have any more? I could keep on going. I have a couple more.
Go for it. I don't have any more.
I have from Stormlight Archive, Pattern.
Yeah.
Our favorite awkward spren.
Yep. The spren that just points out awkward things that humans do.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one.
That's very funny. Yeah.
He's got some of the funniest Sanderson humor, in my opinion, from Pattern.
Yeah, that's yeah. I don't know. Pattern humor sometimes doesn't land for me, just
Yeah.
because I I feel like a character needs to have some multiple dimensions in order to pull off being funny. You know, kind of like Wayne. Like Wayne's pretty funny, but he also has like these deeper dimensions to him.
Yeah, I don't know. Pattern has some other dimensions to him, kind of like the risk he takes. And
Yeah, that's true. He
Hmm.
also just has a lot of mathematical dimensions to him too.
Yeah, there's that.
You
It turns out I only have two more. Or
Okay.
Josh, you had something?
No, I was just never mind. Go ahead.
Okay, more pattern jokes.
More pattern jokes.
From the Books of Babel, which maybe you guys didn't think about that one. Adam Boreas. He's a good fool.
He's a good
Yeah.
fool.
I mean, he's a good character all around, but he's fooling around for most of his time there. And then my last one is you guys. I don't think any of you guys have read Kings of the Wild, huh?
I did read Kings of the Wild, and
Oh, you did?
I did. It was about a year. It was about a year before you guys read it for the Fantology Book Club.
Oh, okay.
And based on your reactions, I had a less favorable opinion of it than most other people did.
Oh, you didn't like it as much. Oh, yeah. We read it for our book club on Discord last month, I think in March, and we all really liked it. I'm surprised you didn't like it. I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't remember much about it, even to begin with, which is kind of crazy because I didn't read it that long ago.
Okay, well, dang, but I liked it. And the fool from that book that I liked was Moog, the wizard fool guy. Most of the characters provide some comic relief. But if you're not Ryan and you're looking for your next fantasy series, I would recommend Kings of the Wild. And it's got a sequel that I plan on reading soon.
You know, oh, sorry, Josh.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's interesting. What's notable is all the series that didn't have anything on here. Like we had a lot of Sanderson fools, but like, I mean, I guess you had Leo, but we didn't really have anything from like Joe Abercrombie. I guess it just kind of tells you something about like the style of writing. Also, like nothing from like Red Rising or from like what's that other book that has really like evil characters as the center point that we read?
Broken Empire.
Yeah. You know, it just some of these tones just kind of don't permit for fools.
Well, Abercrombie has a lot of foolish characters. Like the undertone to most of the things he's writing is like all of these people are idiots and no one knows what they're doing.
But yeah, but that's the thing. It's more dark than you would want to have in a typically foolish character. You know, because most of the time a foolish character is a fool, but yeah, I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like
a lot of times the essence of a fool is that they're self-aware, right? Like Wayne is very self-aware. Like you have a self-aware character that you feel comfortable calling them a fool because they kind of take upon themselves that persona.
Or like the Ron Weasley character is still kind of falls into doing the correct thing, even though he doesn't really know what it is he's doing and makes a lot of mistakes type thing.
Well,
but that's not going to happen with Abercrombie because
their mistakes would lead them to death.
Yeah, right. Serendipitous things are not going to happen.
Yeah,
in that type of book.
Yeah.
One book or one character I just thought of. It's kind of another Sanderson book, M-Bot from Star.
Sure. Yeah.
What's the series called?
The Skyward books.
Skyward.
The Sideovers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a cool one. Yeah, again, I guess we've discovered that Sanderson is he enjoys putting these types of characters in his books.
Shout out to Ben and Ryan's shirts. I think that Dad from Bluey would be a foolish character. He's kind of there to get kind of kicked around by his kids, but is very good-hearted and loves them. And shout out to Dad from Bluey taking the fool.
There you go.
And all the dads who have good dad jokes.
Oh,
And
yeah.
to bring it full circle, he also figures prominently in our stash place. He made an
Louis
appearance.
does.
Oh yeah. Bingo was on there for a while too. I don't know if he's still there anymore.
Bingo is a female dog.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, and
What's
it's not
the correct term for
it
that? Bingo is a female dog.
Josh is the fool.
Okay.
Apparently, Bluey is more of a phenomenon than I'm aware of. I need to get into it.
It's pretty good.
I'm surprised Coco Melon isn't on our place.
Coco
Yeah.
Melon is the worst, and I think all parents agree.
I don't know, man.
It's a
It keeps my-
necessary evil.
yeah, exactly. Keeps my kids entertained. Oh, my daughter.
All right. At this point, now that we've devolved into our personal lives, it's probably time to stop boring our listeners. So if you're interested in playing along with us this month, and you have some great fools that we have not covered, or you want to, recombine some things that we've put into your own list of top 3, then follow us on Twitter and watch for an announcement coming soon. We're going to kick this off in the next few days. We will do a bracket style thing, March Madness style tournament, and then we will have an ultimate winner at the end of the month, and they will win Eternal Glory.
Nice.
Yes, definitely worth playing.
That's
for.
a lot on the
Very
line,
cool.
man. If it's
Yeah.
Eternal Glory, I should have thought more about my picks. Just kidding. I regret nothing.
Ryan, I figured that you would have Gollum on your list for sure.
I'll never be able to live that down, nor would I want to.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you, Ben, Josh, and Ryan, for joining me. Good luck to all of our listeners with their fools, and we'll see you guys later.
Yeah.